Hello. So many booktubers have been talking about their favorite books. Some have made videos that talk about their favorite books of all time. Some have videos where they talk about their top 10 fiction or their top 10 nonfiction. Well, today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite nonfiction books, and this is going to be part one because there are so many nonfiction books that are five-star reads because I'm mostly a nonfiction reader. So I will at least have two videos talking about my favorite nonfiction, and hopefully you can come away with something that you're interested in reading. So let's get started. So, um, one of my favorite authors, and I read all of his books, but I haven't read them all yet. But I was so glad that I met him many years ago because he has since passed away. And that author is David McCullough. This is John Adams. And this is Truman. So anything by David McCullough, I recommend. Fantastic. So the next two books are set in my hometown of Richmond, Virginia. And if you are into historical fiction and you have read Yellow Wife by Sadiqa Johnson, there is a nonfiction book about the story that is centered around that particular fiction book. And it is The Devil's Half Acre by Kristen Green. And the subtitle is The Untold Story of How One Woman Liberated the South's Most Notorious Slave Jail. Unbelievable. The next book that was centered in Richmond, Virginia, and this was so shocking to me, but yeah, I couldn't believe it. The Organ Thieves by Chip Jones. The shocking true story of the first heart transplant in the segregated South. I mean, a lot of these things should be taught in schools. And so if you don't read, you just don't know. So, another book, I watched the movie a couple of times, but it took me a while to get to the book. Last year I read Hidden Figures by Margot Lee Shetterly. Unbelievable story. Okay, this particular book won the National Book Award, and it made me cry 3 times while I was reading it. The research that was done, the writing, and of course the story, The Blood of Emmett Till by Timothy B. Tyson. Fantastic. Sad, very sad. But very well written, very well done. Okay, so this author, I've read, excuse me, his book. He won the Pulitzer for Evicted, but this one is Poverty by America by Matthew Desmond. And this one also won the Pulitzer Prize. And, to me, it's one of those books that you just have to reread at some point because it's just so good. It's just so full of information. And that is The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson. The subtitle is The Epic Story of America's Great Migration. I buddy read this particular book with several of my book buddies, and we had never heard of this story before. It was just eye-opening. This would make a fantastic book club book, and I'm sure it has been several times, and that is Master Slave, Husband Wife by Il Young Woo. The subtitle is An Epic Journey from Slavery to Freedom. Unbelievable story. This particular book also was made into a motion picture, and I have not seen the movie yet, but this book, that is Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson, a story of justice and redemption. I highly recommend it. And lastly, for now, this was a book that I also buddy read, and I think this should be taught in schools as well. But I'm sure a lot of people don't want it known, and that is The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein. The subtitle is A Forgotten History of How Our Government Segregated America. So, those are some of the books that I found fascinating and brilliant and well written, and they all deserve the 5-star review. And if there's something that jumped out at you, then please read it, because all of these were fantastic. So until part 2, I'll see you next time.